We're live.
All right, welcome everybody to House Energy and Digital Infrastructure. It is Friday, February 27th, and we are here with Ledge Council to do a committee walkthrough, discussion, and vote on H740 draft number 2.3. I'm Representative Kathleen James from Manchester.
Scott Campbell from St. Johnsbury.
Tomorrow, Wyndham, Windsor, Betting, Michael Southwest, Caledonia 2.
Christopher Howland, Rutland 4.
Dara Torrey, Washington 2.
Aaron Butler, Chittenden 13, Burlington.
Great, and joining us in the room,
Dana Lee Perry from the Crescent Group.
Paris Chung, also the state treasurer.
And Julie Walsh from Newburgh.
great. All right, so I'm going to just give a quick kind of recap and overview of where we've been. So just as a reminder, H740, I was the original bill sponsor, and I introduced this bill and have been championing it because in my time in the legislature, if there's anything I've learned, it's that the best policies are based on great data. And right now, we don't have the greenhouse gas reporting data that we need to really build successful policy that helps kind of move Vermont toward the future in a way that helps everyday Vermonters, rather than harms them. We've had a lot of talks about that in the legislature. So anyway, 740 is based on the recommendation of the 2025 Climate Action Plan, which was updated and introduced this summer. And getting this reporting structure in place was one of the top recommendations of the Climate Council. It was accompanied by a memo from the Agency of Natural Resources that called this work foundational to building good policy in the future. And it was also called foundational to our future work by Treasurer Pichek. So basically, I took the ideas that were presented in the climate plan, worked with Ledge Council to turn it into a bill, and high level, and then I'll let Ellen do the walkthrough. What we're trying to do here is, clearly establish and or reiterate the fact that the Agency of Natural Resources has the authority to adopt rules that create this reporting program. It directs ANR to adopt these rules. In other words, it says you shall go do this. And then it lays out what kind of reporting we're looking for. So we're talking about fossil fuels for various sectors at the zip code, municipal or other level. And then it provides ANR the funding to do that work. So, and I know we'll have a committee discussion in a minute and people can ask questions of Ledge Council, but Ellen, can you walk us through what we've been trying to work? I've been trying to work very closely with ANR to make sure that the language reflects, their request, which is make it clear that we have the authority to do this, tell us what you want in the rules, and give us the money.
Ellen Tchaikovsky, Office of Legislative Counsel, H740. This is the committee amendment, draft 2.3. The changes are highlighted in yellow. I don't believe you had a draft 1.1, so this would be as different from the bill as introduced. So it's largely very similar to that version. So section 1 is amending 10 VSA 582, which is the greenhouse gas inventory and forecast and registry. And so this is this existing statute. The greenhouse gas inventory has been developed and published by the Agency of Natural Resources for a number of years. And they already have existing rulemaking authority under that program, but this is adding very specific authority as part of that rulemaking authority. So at the bottom of page 1, subsection E, subdivision 2, the Secretary has authority to adopt rules that create a comprehensive greenhouse gas emissions reporting program that covers all sources of emissions, including fuel suppliers. Suppliers of transportation, on to page 2, and heating fuels covered by the rules shall comply with requests from the Secretary for information. The Secretary shall adopt a rule that, at a minimum, includes the types and volume of fossil fuels sold by sector for the transportation, residential, commercial, and industrial sectors, and by zip code, municipality, or the smallest geographic level practicable. I think this language, small geographic language level practicable, appears in a couple other statutes, and it gives some flexibility as they develop this rule. They don't necessarily know at what level of granularity that data will be available yet. Section 2 on page 2 is the session law rulemaking provision. And this is for on or before July 1, 2027, the Secretary of Natural Resources shall adopt final rules for greenhouse gas reporting as required in 10 VSA 582E2. The prior version had the date by which they needed to submit it to LCAR, and the Secretary identified that just having the date by which they should adopt by would be more clear for them and easier to comply with. And then the last section, section 3, there was an appropriation in the prior version, but in addition to the funding, there's also two new positions being added. So funding, in addition to other funds appropriated to the Agency of Natural Resources, the sum of $500,000 shall be appropriated from the general fund as a base appropriation, which will be used to draft the greenhouse gas emission reporting rules, to develop a greenhouse gas emission source database, and to support staff and ongoing efforts required to implement emission source data collection. Subsection B is the positions. In fiscal year 2027, the establishment of 2 new permanent classified environmental analyst 5 positions, and the Agency of Natural Resources is authorized. And the effective date is on passage.
I want to add one thing, just so folks understand, because I had to make sure I understood. In addition to other funds appropriated to the Agency of Natural Resources, the sum of $500,000 shall be appropriated as base. The reason that language is there is to make it clear that the Agency of Natural Resources already has in the FY27 general fund its own much larger base appropriation. So that's what that is referring to. It's saying we know that A&R already has, a base appropriation in the FY27 budget. We would like to add to that base appropriation this extra $500,000. And then it says what it will be used for, including the staff. Right. Yeah.
What happened to the 300,000 to set up the whole system?
A&R said they don't need that right away. They don't need it in the FY27 budget. You're welcome.
And NRC this language.
A&R has definitely seen this language. That accounts for my long silence and my long delay. Since A&R said this is foundational work and A&R is the agency that's going to do the work, it was really important to me that A&R approve this language. And so this is fully A&R vetted and approved. Yeah.
So total funds are approaching the 800,000 again, including the 2 FTEs, which they say on average is 130,000 per position, correct?
They're included in the 5.
I'm talking about down below as well.
Yeah.
So we're up to 800,000 almost again.
No, they need 2 different sections of language here. They need the money, the 500,000, and that's going to cover all the work and the staff. And then they need language that specifically says, and this is who those staff are going to be.
But that's additional
That's
staff.
not additional. It's included in the 5.
As drafted, they're gonna take it out of the 5.
Because the way I read this is it's the establishment of 2 new permanent classified employees. And that to me states it's an addition to that 500.
No, that specific language specifically for, the Department of HR is gonna need to like be able to create those. And so you're right, there will be a cost to them, but the appropriation that ANR will be getting is this $500,000. That I think potentially will be subject to discussion about the specific amount, and that will happen in House appropriations, but that is intended to cover the staff.
So wouldn't wording in A be better? I'm not questioning you. Just saying, including the establishment of 2 new positions today in a separate line item.
No, but you, if it's not clear, I think you could add to say for the staff that is being created, but it's 2 separate things. These 2 things will actually get separated further down in the legal process, but I guess you could be more specific and say for the new staff created under this.
I think the intent to the language is it's how we do this in bills. And
Well, I disagree, but that's beside the point.
right. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is the ANR is clear and Ledge Council is clear, and so it's not additional money for the staff. We're giving ANR basically the 2 titles, and the funding for those 2 folks will come out of the 500,000. Any other questions? Yeah.
Does anyone know off the top of their head how much that would bring the total of staff up to? That's a London National. Are they 13 now?
I don't know. I also don't know if those folks will be at the Climate Action Office or
True.
could just be at ANR. All right. Any other questions for Ellen? All right. I think we have Rep Bailey wanting to join us to vote. Is he going to call me, Rep Southworth?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay. Let me take my phone off silent.
I have to put that on your notes.
Is Carol coming in at 1:45?
She's zooming in.
At 1:45?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you want me to see if she can come earlier?
Sure. Are you guys okay with that?
Are we moving right to the vote, or is there discussion? If that was the discussion.
I think that was a discussion.
You wrote that, Laura.
Okay.
Did he in there?
No,
I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
that's okay. We're waiting for Rep Southworth to call in.
He's right here. He's with us in the room. Do you see him?
Bailey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Multitasking never good for me. I was trying to make sure my phone was unmuted so that Rep
Lady, go
Bailey.
here's phone now, please.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
All right, while we wait, so we've talked about this a lot in committee, but this bill's going to approps. And, you know, in some ways that's really where the pedal will hit the metal. So I don't know. Rep Bailey,
Yeah,
hi, you're on speaker.
how are you?
Good. You're on speaker live on YouTube in our committee room.
Okay,
All right. Thanks for joining us. We're just about to take the vote. So Yep, and I always get the language wrong. I will,
Take a motion.
yeah, entertain a motion to approve
Report favorably.
the committee report favorably.
So moved.
As the clerk shall commence to call the roll.
Representative Bailey,
No.
Representative Campbell,
Yes.
Representative Howland,
No.
Representative Plattner,
Yes.
Representative Mora,
Yes.
Representative.
So I want to get,
Yes.
No, you're here. Don't talk now.
Representative South,
No,
Representative Torrey, yes, and Chair James.
Yes. Okay, Rep Bailey,
yes.
sorry about that. I meant to mute you, but I accidentally muted the room. So we just had the vote and Dara's about to read the results here.
Okay, thank you.
3-0. And the reporter of the bill is
Representative James, 630, and I'm the floor reporter and it's going to approves.
Very good.
All right, thanks for calling in and travel safe. We'll see you after break.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate the flexibility.
You bet. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Rich.
That's great.
You too.
You too. Bye, Rich.
Thanks.
Technology. All right, thanks everybody. So we'll see what happens in approps. And we have Carol Flint. Should we just stick with 145? Okay,
Thank you.
because we have committee discussion we could do that right now.
So the procedure, does this get read on the floor on the tenth and then assigned to a vote?
It's that thing where the speaker says, you know, whatever she
Yeah,
says and blah, 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 and will be referred to the committee on appropriations. So there won't be,
In that, yeah, there won't be any floor report on the elections.
no,
affecting the budget of the state,
huh?
affecting the budget of the state.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll go to approps and then approps is gonna, they have a ton of bills, you know, stacking up on their wall. And, they have to get them all out before the 20th.
They have 1 week or 2 weeks.
They have 2 weeks left
No,
after
they have
today.
1 week after they have an additional week after the 13th.
Yeah, yep,
So
and
this
they can,
goes into that envelope of the 13th.
yep,
We met our crossover deadline.
yeah, and approps could do one of two things. I mean, they could call up the bill and just vote no. Or they could, what they often do is they strip the money out. And they keep a spreadsheet basically of all the bills that are coming to them with requested money. And this is already on their spreadsheet because, you
We
know,
wrote a letter.
yeah, it was in our letter. And plus I put this on approps radar in like July, saying like, hey, there's this bill. I'm probably going to introduce it. And it was in our letter with, you know, noted that it was a 6-3 vote. So what I think is probably more likely to happen is that they'll strip the money out and the money will either be in the budget or not be in the budget. So I'm really unclear at this point whether or when it'll come to the floor. So this bill has largely been about the money from the get-go. So, but I did want to talk about, since we have a minute, let's talk about all of our other work. So I feel like we're making progress. So H 740, we just voted out. I feel like the committee bill is going to be vote out of both. And so I'm going to get an updated draft on that. And I'll circulate it over break. We'll get it posted. And I think we can probably vote on that committee bill. Maybe even, I don't know, maybe even Tuesday. I'll just keep everybody posted. Want to make sure everybody has time to look at the draft. So that's 740 off to approves. Committee bill, we're going to vote out next week. Laura is working on her data center bill. And she's meeting with Maria. She's going to incorporate all of our conversations, all the feedback from DPS, the feedback from Efficiency Vermont and Feedburg, the feedback from the PUC, the feedback from the Land Use Review Board. Additional suggested language is coming from the Water Caucus. That's all going to become an updated draft that she'll send out then to all the key stakeholder folks for like, here's the new draft. What do you think? Need to hear back from you quickly. So that bill, I'm just going to schedule committee time for that next week in an undeterminate way, but we're definitely going to vote that one up for crossover. Net metering hit the wall, I'm afraid. So we'll return to, hello, my daughter. We'll return to the topic of solar after crossover and just take testimony, I guess, and see where we want to go with that topic for down the road. Residential energy code, House General took a flyby and Scott walked them all through it and no suggestions, no changes. They did a straw poll, 6 yes, 1 abstention, which is kind of rare. And 3 folks were not in the committee room, but I've since talked to them, as has Scott.
Actually, I haven't talked to all of them.
Okay,
So it was 6-1-3.
what did I say?
I'm
Something
not sure if
different.
it's against, but yeah.
Yeah.
6-1-3 and 1 reserved.
Okay, so 3 absent, 1 no, and 1 abstention.
Right.
Okay, and 6-4.
So what was the basis of the abstention?
He's a builder.
Wanted just more information. He's a builder and wanted to talk it through some more. I have talked to him before, but some more talking people good. Just haven't had a chance to do it.
Thank you.
But I don't think we're gonna get anything from them in writing or anything, right? I mean, there were no substantive.
No,
Okay, and then speaking of flybys, sorry, I forgot. House Environment is gonna fly by our data center bill. Probably on Wednesday. Where did I lose the thread? Oh, H753. I think we're very close on that. So that'll be voted out next week. And then our joint carbon emissions reduction committee took a bunch of notes from our conversation, and we got a little bit more feedback from Scott Moore.
I have some thoughts on that as well.
Okay, let me pick up my notepad. Scott Moore wrote to us and reminded us to strike out Office of Legislative Operations because
Oh, yeah. I was gonna mention that.
I guess that's like ceasing to exist or ceased to exist. I'm sorry that my desk is such a mess right now, but well, anyway, what are your thoughts, Rep. Southwood? Oh, found it. Okay. I had a thought too, now that we have time to have thoughts. Where's the Office of Ledge? I'm just gonna flag that to fix, okay? All
Can you
right,
give me the title and it was something in section 17, but I'm.
yeah, it's
Title.
Title 2, Chapter 17.
So common wording, when naming representatives is to define that they can't be from the same party or affiliation.
That's right, we had talked about that. I think you just say.
And I would just like to make sure that we include all
Yeah,
independents, Republicans, Democrats, everyone inclusive.
how do we typically word that?
So,
Not all from the same party,
right, so the way you
right?
don't, or the way you don't do it is to say one from each party.
Right.
Okay.
So if you say, not all from the same party.
That's how I've typically seen it. I think that's important to add. So not all from the same party. And that should be on both the House and Senate side. Good one. Thought about that and then forgot.
Can you just run through what committees that we are saying they have to be from?
Yeah, it's gonna be 4 representatives. And on the House side, we have Commerce, Environment, Transportation, and us. And then on the Senate side, also 4 members. We only specified natural resources, economic development, and transportation, so they would have 1 at large.
Told I should be casting stones.
I just, I don't want to limit people who have expertise in energy that may not be on one of those committees.
Well,
And it may be a minority in that, it just, that's one of
no,
the thoughts that I had.
so one way to do that, I can think of 2 ways to do that. We could make it 5 members. Just go with 10. I mean, you know, we're used to being a smaller committee, but most of our committees are 11 people. So, you know, we're accustomed to a smaller table, but we have plenty of committees that are 11. In fact, most of them are. So we could just go with 10. People are certainly accustomed to that. Or we could be less directive in the committees we're insisting on.
I was wondering about that.
Like,
And,
I would knock out Commerce.
and just say maybe at a minimum, at least 1 member from this committee and leave a couple of positions open.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just trying to spitball because I just don't want to pigeonhole us to.
I appreciate that. I do think it's important to make sure that you don't get disconnected from your committees and jurisdiction.
oh, that's
Understood.
a really
So
good point.
Yeah.
I think we definitely do want to make sure that they are connected. It doesn't have to be all of the members.
What if we go with 10?
And then leave.
There's more at large.
As a delegate to be named by the speaker, and then people can approach the speaker.
Yeah.
And
Well, all we do there is we just say 5 representatives and we just list 4 committees and then the speaker's got, because when the speaker's appointing a committee like this, she usually goes out to chairs and says, who do you think should be on? But people are going to see this bill coming through. People who want to be on it should be approaching the speaker and saying like, hey.
And if
you know,
it's
I'd
not
like to
making
consider-
sense, then just, I'm open to that, but I just
I'd make
started
sense to
thinking a
me.
little more wider range than
Yeah.
what we were originally.
What about going with 10 members and that allows for 1 at large in the House and 2 at large in the Senate? Or if we really want to go big, we could do 10 members, knock out Commerce and Economic Development. Just keep in the core
Who's the other one? I'm sorry.
Energy and Environment committees, and there'd be more at large members.
Oh, I wouldn't put energy and environment and not commerce.
Okay,
I mean, if you're putting environment, I'd put commerce.
all right, well then. All right, then what about that? Just stick with 10 members and there's more at largeness.
I'm not open to that. I just was trying to think that we're pigeonholing ourselves into maybe excluding people that may have some expertise.
All right. It's fine by me.
What about housing? Instead of. economic development. For the house. Housing chair.
For the energy committee?
Or,
For that, I mean,
I'm just thinking, because buildings are such a big source of emissions. And they're housing.
Weatherization. That could be the at-large person. Cause,
This is what always happened.
yeah,
This is what always happened to freedom.
yeah,
Keep it at 8.
well, you missed that. You
I
missed that conversation.
can be fine with energy and environment, but
Or just make sure those are two main ones and then at least two are.
unless they're authority, like it's just making recommendations, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So.
all right, so what did we decide?
Back to 8.
We were at 10
Okay.
with 1 at large on the House side and 2 at large on the Senate side.
Yeah.
Did Mr. Moore raise any question with must meet 5 times and the upper limit, so there's no upper limit?
There's no upper limit. We were gonna say at a minimum of 5 times.
Right, but he didn't comment on, that he just came in and said this is what, that's why this is what it costs to conduct a meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, well, I can get that.
Commerce, energy, environment, transportation, and other in the House. At large. Is
I don't think we have to say. Because
that what you said?
I don't think we have to say and other. It'll.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just asking you.
Yeah,
what's the number?
Yeah, no, where we landed was 5 members.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have commerce, environment, transportation, and us.
Right.
And then 5 on the Senate, and that's natural resources, economic development, and transportation. Okay, and then I wanted to talk
Not
about,
finance.
we took them off.
Okay, that's right. Okay,
Well, they'll have 2 at large.
great stuff.
And the less directive we are, the less people have to come back and revise this every time the committees change. There was, the only thought I had about we had also talked about the duties. And I really liked concerning the future of energy in Vermont. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I'm not comfortable with striking any mention of carbon emissions. Because that's, the future of energy in Vermont is very, very, very broad. And it's very important to me that we include carbon emissions as one of the subjects.
I didn't know we struck that out.
Well,
It's also the name of the committee.
yeah,
So maybe the future of clean energy.
that's not. Future of energy.
I like that.
What's wrong with clean energy?
Nothing in my mind.
Clean and or dirty.
Huh? Calling people from the clean coal department.
Oh my God, you're hurting me.
Clean is the dirty word.
So I would propose that we leave the duties as is and then add and concerning the future of energy in Vermont. I mean, if we wanted to, we could really go big and say something like energy supply, generation, and siting, but
Wow,
whoa,
No.
exciting.
No.
Exciting sounds exciting.
siting sounds very exciting. Okay, so we'll leave it as it's written, since that's the original duty. That I think it's important to leave it in there and say, and something about and concerning the future of energy in Vermont. We talked about yesterday.
Do we want to list out specifically the energies we're looking at them or asking them to look at?
I think that goes into either session law or our letter, because that could change over time too.
True.
All right, you guys want me to get distracted?
Yes.
Okay, so that's our list. So I will, and then floor next week, the times are not changing. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. Yeah,
They're not changing.
the floor time, so we're all gone next week. everybody comes back on Tuesday morning. Floor times are not changing
The week we come back.
the week we come back.
Okay, great.
They're staying at 3:30, so committees can have time to do their work. And we had talked about trying to see whether we could attach session law to this that would direct them on their homework. That's where we would get specific. And if we can come to agreement, we could tack that on there. So we should allow discussion time for that.
Yeah.
If not, it has to be a letter.
I mean, I think it just should be basically inclusive of any energy source that's
Yeah.
available. Doesn't mean that they're gonna say, oh, we have to do this. It's just giving a broad spectrum of what's out there and
Yep.
what it does, pros and cons, and go from there.
All right, well, I'll get this drafted. I guess we can, and then that was kind of my grand farewell. I don't think I missed anything that we were trying to get done for crossover. So when we're done with our last
Oh,
testimony.
you wanna just
we can-
get wild and pick a bill?
I don't, we'll see how much time we have. If we're twiddling our thumbs next week, we'll get,
We will not be twiddling our.
I
We'll
don't
be
think we're gonna
busy
be,
when we get back.
I think we're probably gonna be busy, but
Yes.
we'll see.
But, and what date?
The data center bill is gonna be time consuming.
And maybe the go.
What else are we expecting from the Senate?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. So we have 202, we'll definitely take that up. So 202, we will take that up after crossover. We'll take all the testimony you would expect to take, and then we've had some requests for testimony that the Senate didn't really have time to take, like from the electricians union. I heard from them, and I think we'll have more time to get into the safety stuff.
Fire safety.
So that is our only S bill so far. The Senate has our solar bill, our copper to fiber bill, and our cell tower bill. And I would expect all three of those are gonna pass. I don't think any of those are gonna hit like, oh, they're dead. So I would expect those to pass. Solar may not look very different. Consolidate the copper bill, who knows? And the cell tower bill, I have no idea what they're gonna do with that, but we can expect those back at some point. So we'll need to, at a minimum, if they pass it back without changes, there's nothing to do. But if they've made changes, that's work we'll have to do. And then we have talked a lot about taking testimony on the future of the nuclear industry. I'm really interested in taking testimony on siting, where we put stuff. I know you guys have heard in committee my frustration about solar, where we can put it. Do you know if Senator Harrison got that procurement bill going?
I don't. I was talking about last night.
Yeah, Senator Harrison and Senate institutions are really interested in how the state procures, like state government IT procurement. But she didn't introduce her own bill this year, but Sibilia drafted a quick short form and we gave it to Wendy and said, we don't have time to get it out, but if you want to. So maybe that'll be coming over. And, it'll go fast. I mean, I know this speaker has been talking repeatedly about it during on time.
Which is what day?
It's like May 10th or something. I mean, it's
Wow. Great.
Opposite of what I heard today.
huh?
What that?
Opposite of what I heard rumbling around today.
Well, who knows? But
I predict we all are watching that accursed conference committee at the end session again.
it's true. We're all going to be sitting around watching the Senate, House and Senate
Okay.
Education conference committees. So, yeah, I don't know if anything else is coming over. I don't think Senate Natural sending us anything.
They're working really hard on some draft 181.
I think they're working on Act 2081 too. All right. Alex, is Carol here?
He is, yeah.
Perfect.
Carol. No, roughly twice.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Well,
Thanks for joining us.
of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We don't need to introduce ourselves because we never went off live. We've already done our thing. So I could just say that you are joining us this afternoon to provide feedback on an updated and greatly slimmed down draft of H 753.
Thank you. So, I think if you
One sec, okay? Alex, is it anything on our end?
Maybe get rid of the other.
He's in
second
twice.
login.
Do you think?
Yeah. Hey, Carol, I have you in the Zoom twice for some reason. Do you know why that is? I can try to remove you.
There we go.
Can you say something now?
Hello.
Hi.
That sounds good.
I think it's better.
Excellent. Thank you. Much better. You can still hear me? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I apologize. There's construction going on behind me. So if you can hear that, I will attempt to make them stop hammering. So my name is Carol Flint. I'm with the Department of Public Service. Thank you for inviting me today to provide feedback on H 753. My remarks are very short, just that it seems to have moved in a good direction. It's workable and supportable, and I think we can do the things that are asked of us. I should probably, as part of the record, object to unfunded work, but that is, just par for the course. We do keep an eye on, as you already know, on disconnections and can certainly report on that to the legislature. Particularly reasonable is the amount of time that's afforded and, in looking at rule revisions as well. If the PC doesn't open up a process on its own in the interim, I appreciate the deadline that gives us some time and concrete, an opportunity for a concrete movement at that point in time. So that's really all I have to say.
That's great. Tori's excited.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
So, let me reiterate, you did say unfunded work.
Additional work, I should say, that doesn't come,
Well, either way, but that was the point I wanted to emphasize.
Okay. Anything else for Carol? Great. Well, Carol, we're gonna sorry, what are we waiting on this bill? You asked for my gas for written testimony and the PUC for quick written testimony. We'll have a draft delivered to the committee sometime over break. And yeah. Right.
Right, from Maria. She's gonna clean this one up.
Great. Okay. And I guess the only shifting gears would be if we hear something from Vermont Gas or from the PUC that gives a majority of committee members pause.
Correct.
Okay. All right, Carol, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you,
And we can
Carol.
go offline.